Have you ever wondered why you repeat certain patterns you detest in your family? The answer may lie in the shadows you inherited. Carl Gustav Jung, one of the greatest thinkers of the 20th century, bequeathed us a profound truth. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. And when that other is someone from our family, the irritation can be an even more powerful portal to understanding not only who we are, but who we have become because of hidden legacies. This phrase, although it does not directly address the family, applies forcefully to our family system, where projections, shadows, and unresolved aspects of one generation are often unconsciously passed on to the next. The family is our first stage, where we learn to act and interact. But it is also the place where shadows, those aspects of our personality, desires, fears, and traumas that we repress or do not want to acknowledge in ourselves, are frequently projected onto others. When something in a family member deeply irritates us, throws us off balance, it is an opportunity to look within. This irritation can be a mirror, reflecting something that is in us, but that we refuse to see. It may be a trait we repress, a behavior we fear manifesting, or even an unhealed wound that the other, unknowingly, is touching. Think of the overly controlling father. The anger we feel toward him may be an invitation to look at our own controlling tendencies or at our aversion to being controlled, rooted in an old wound. The overly dramatic mother who irritates us may lead us to question our own difficulty in expressing emotions or, conversely, our own tendency toward drama that we deny. The constant criticism from a family member may trigger our own insecurity and the need for approval that still haunts us. Constant fights between siblings, though seemingly about trivial matters, often echo old disputes for attention, love, or recognition that come from a past the adults involved no longer even remember. Family shadows are not just individual characteristics. They can be transgenerational legacies, unspoken secrets, unresolved traumas that were silenced and passed down like an unwritten script. A grandfather who suffered a great loss and never processed it may have passed on a melancholy or fear of attachment to his children, who in turn, without understanding the origin, manifest these emotions. And they continue to manifest in grandchildren. A grandmother who lived through great financial hardship may have instilled a fear of scarcity that leads her descendants to a compulsion to hoard or to constant anxiety about money, even when there is no real reason for it. These unspoken patterns, these invisible pains, create an energy field in the family that influences dynamics and choices, often without anyone noticing. The consequences of not recognizing these shadows can be profound. We live in a cycle of repetition, where the same conflicts, the same pains, and the same challenges manifest from generation to generation. The person may feel an inexplicable internal tension, a sense that something is wrong but without being able to identify the source. They may struggle to establish healthy relationships, reproducing dysfunctional patterns they saw at home. Procrastination, self-sabotage, the inability to feel deserving, or difficulty expressing one's own voice may be manifestations of these inherited shadows. They prevent us from living fully, from freeing ourselves from a past that is not even entirely ours, but that was passed on to us. Jung's great invitation is for us to transform irritation into self-observation. Instead of projecting blame onto the other, we can use the emotion that the other provokes in us as a beacon for our own interior. It is an act of courage to look at the aspects of ourselves that we prefer to keep hidden, those we call shadow. This process of integrating the shadow, of recognizing and accepting the parts of ourselves that we judge as negative or unacceptable, is fundamental to our process of individuation, of becoming who we truly are, beyond the masks and unconscious legacies. In the family, this work of recognizing shadows can be one of the most transformative. It begins with awareness, identifying what really irritates us in our family members. Is it anger, passivity, victimhood, criticism? Once the emotion or behavior is identified, the next step is to ask, where does this resonate in me? Do I also have a similar trait that I repress? Is this irritation touching a wound of mine that needs attention? Is this a pain that was passed down from generation to generation and that I now have the opportunity to heal? This process is not easy. It requires humility to admit our own imperfections and courage to revisit old pains. It may involve difficult conversations with family members, if possible and healthy, or individual work with therapy to untangle emotional knots. By shedding light on the shadows, both our own and those we inherited, we disarm them. They lose the power to control us or to lead us to repeat destructive patterns. Understanding is the first step toward liberation. By understanding the origin of our irritation and family patterns, we become capable of choosing a new path, of rewriting our own script. When we recognize and integrate these shadows, the family can become a place of healing and authenticity. Where there was once irritation, compassion can arise, both for ourselves and for others, understanding that everyone carries their own shadows. Where there was unconscious repetition, the freedom of choice can emerge. The family, then, ceases to be a stage for projections and becomes a space for growth and transformation, where each member, by illuminating themselves from within, also lights the way for others. It is a legacy of awareness that we offer to future generations, breaking cycles and building a new and more authentic family narrative. Did you like what you heard? Leave your like, share with those who need this reflection, and subscribe to not miss the next content that will transform your way of seeing family and education.